We're called Muse and you're watching Rage.
In biology, there are 3 domains and 6 kingdoms. Prior to the 1960s, there were only 3 kingdoms, but scientists changed it to 5, then 6. Let's take 2 steps back and talk about these classifications. Classifications came about in the 18th century, founded by Linnaeus. There was a system now called bionomenclature, or just simply a 2-part name for every organism. It is also a classification that separates groups into larger groups by kingdoms, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and finally species. So let's look again at those domains. What are those all about? Well, the 3 domains and their subparts are as follows. Bacteria is our first domain, containing single-celled prokaryotes. These prokaryotes have no internal membranes and play a big role of decomposers in the ecosystem, but some of these are anaerobes while some are aerobes. Some of these little guys are pathogens that can harm other species like ourselves, but these guys can be used for genetic engineering to help us. Some bacteria carry out photosynthesis and some don't, but they all have a thick cell wall containing peptoglycan. Some examples of bacteria are chlamydia and Staphylococcus. Viruses are also contained in this group because scientists couldn't place them anywhere else. Archaea are unicellular prokaryotes that don't contain nucleuses. They have some RNA polymers and have ions present in some genes. Unlike the bacteria, they have no peptoglycan. This domain includes exophiles, or organisms that live in harsh environments. Examples of archaea are thermophiles and exophiles. Eukarya is our last domain, known as the super kingdom, because it involves all 4 of the original eukaryotic kingdoms. All of the organisms in this domain have a nucleus and internal organelles. They have no peptoglycan. Examples of eukarya are any plants and animals you may come across. So that leaves us with a very broad knowledge of biological domains, but let's look a little in depth and examine each kingdom by itself. Eubacteria are prokaryotic with no nuclear membrane and contain most known pathogenic organisms. They are under bacteria. Basically, bacteria is this kingdom, so you can refer to the earlier section. Archaebacteria have no nuclear membrane and are prokaryotic. They are basically the same elements as archaea, refer to my earlier mentions. Protista have the widest variety of eukaryotic organisms. This includes species that don't fit into fungi like slime molds and seaweeds. They have single and primitive multi-celled organisms, including both heterotrophs and autotrophs. Their mobility is varied using all sorts of methods like flagella and cilia, depending on what organism it is. Some are asexual and some can reproduce sexually. Some also carry out photosynthesis. Fungi are all heterotrophs and eukaryotic. They secrete hydraulic enzymes out of their bodies where their extracellular digestion takes place. They then absorb these nutrients that they have digested through diffusion. They play an important role as decomposers and don't have a cell wall composed of cellulose. Examples of fungi are mushrooms and mold. I'm allergic to mold. Plantae are autotrophic eukaryotes. The trilophytes have vascular tissue while bryophytes do not. They are photosynthetic and at some instances work hand in hand with animals to convert carbon dioxide to oxygen and back again. This group basically involves all plants like mosses, ferns, cone-bearing, and flowering plants. They can reproduce sexually and asexually. And finally, we have Animalia. They are all heterotrophic, multicellular eukaryotes. There are 35 phyla under this kingdom. Most of the animals in this kingdom reproduce sexually with a diploid stage in development. Also, they have small flagellated sperm that fertilizes the egg. All of these animals can be traced back to one common ancestor. This includes all animals like zebras and leopards. Leopards are cool. These animals were traditionally classified by homologous structures.
deadlines known as beat the clock.
I think we've got it. I think we found it. I think we found what we're looking for. I think this is the missing link, you know, because it's so extreme.
Centipede.
The last one.